episode of Fire Up. Are we fired up, JD?
Yes, we are absolutely fired up. I think we have got the fryers fixed. Candy, somebody tried to sabotage us this evening.
Uh-oh.
Somebody tried to put water in the daggum fryers.
Uh-oh.
So
Oh no. Oh no.
we've cleaned it up. And for all of you people who are allergic to peanuts, I got bad news. Because all we had was peanut oil. We've put it in the fryers and we're slam ready to get fried up on Fire Up on a Thursday. God, if only it was Friday. That'd be a really cool thing to say, wouldn't it?
That would be.
Fire Up, fried
That would
up
be a
on
little
Fire Up on a Friday. Ooh, I don't know. We might have to come up with a new show. Ooh, that sounds really good.
Uh-oh. Ooh. Oh my goodness.
Rut, indeed.
So speaking of Friday,
We'll start.
that
Go ahead.
the drama is over for the Steelers, or is it? Because Aaron Rodgers is reportedly going to report and sign a contract tomorrow on Friday ahead of their mini camps with the Steelers. Is the drama over or not? Or is it just beginning for the Steelers? What do you think, JD?
I think the sun will come out tomorrow. Tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers. And no, they'll still be losers. I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with Steelers, but they're still going to be losers. Why wait? We've heard what half of the teammates have to say about Aaron Rodgers taking so long. And then, quite honestly, I'm just mad because I'm wrong about another prediction.
Uh-oh.
Aaron Rodgers, man, we had terms in place. He was going to be the next co-host of Southern Fried Sports. He backed out, went to the Steelers.
Although I would say, JD, I would say, JD, if you were going to pick an ex Green Bay Packer for Southern Fried Sports, you should pick Brett Favre because he's from the South.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, that would be, that's picking two very difficult things. But, I mean, we did always know Aaron Rodgers was going to sign. You want me to tell you, you want to know why we knew? And this might be something different that no one's heard. The NFL literally scheduled the Jets week 1 for the Steelers.
Yep.
We knew, they knew, everybody knew. Aaron Rodgers just told somebody a couple weeks ago that he's not going to the Vikings, but he will play in the Bears stadium this year. Guess who plays at the Bears this year? The Steelers. My only problem here isn't with that he signed with the Steelers or that Aaron Rodgers gets $20 million for 1 year. Mm-hmm. That's none of my issue. My issue is what took you so long? Dirty C words. Candy, I don't know if I've told you my dirty C words before. Okay, so on Southern Fried Sports, dirty C words. Family show people, eyes up here. Chemistry, culture, competition, coaching, cash. The list has got camaraderie. Mm-hmm. The list goes on and on. And Aaron Rodgers displays none of those characteristics. Why would I want him to sign after so long? Make it make sense, Candy.
Well, you knew he was going to sign because there's no way he wanted to end his career as badly as he did with the Jets. There's just no way. And yes, he's talked about would he or would he not sign, or will the Packers even ask him to sign a one-day contract so he can officially retire as a Packer? But he's not ready for that. Like, he doesn't want his legacy to go down as horrible as it ended with the Jets. Now, why didn't he sign earlier? He's saying he had a personal matter he was attending to. But does that, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what kind of personal matter it was. And we all have our own personal matters, but
well, I think the story did come out. He had like a friend who was also battling a dirty C word. And I think he had a couple, maybe another one had like, there was some stuff that really came out.
Okay.
I don't know if it was true or not. Just obviously rumors.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, you still got to go to work. I got to go to work. And that Aaron Rodgers had that luxury, though, of being like, I don't really have to go to work.
No, he's made enough money. I mean,
he held the Steelers hostage.
Yeah.
The team, the fan base. I mean, think about it. You really think the Steelers draft the way they do? If they didn't already know that Aaron Rodgers was coming?
I think they knew.
And if you know why this storyline, and as Kane, he asked on the stream, did we really need him to sign ASAP? And for all my wrestling people out there, my answer was, it ain't wrestling. Don't delay your signing to create headlines. That's a good comparison for me, I think. You're just trying to create a promo, Aaron Rodgers. Why?
Well, and from my standpoint of view, you holding out as long as you did, that was invaluable time that you could have started to build a relationship with your receivers and your offensive line and really start communicating with them, not practicing with them. I get it. You got to wait for mini camp and stuff like that. But even having conversations, going out, meeting them and working out at the facility together, or, just starting to gel, because we've all talked about you need chemistry with the guys you're throwing to in order for you to succeed. But yeah, Mark, I agree. This was just Aaron being Aaron, and yep.
Aaron.
Mr. Drama Queen.
He would have been a heck of a co-host, though, on Southern Fried Sports.
He is very...
I tried, y'all. I tried.
He is very intelligent. He would be... Yeah. I could see. So, do we think he improves the Steelers? And by how much?
Well, I told a couple of Steelers fans earlier that at least now you don't have a reindeer for a quarterback in Mason Rudolph. The Steelers got some weapons this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They just needed somebody to throw them the ball. And they upgraded. I'm still putting them from the 8 to 10 win range. So he upgraded them. I mean, with Mason Rudolph, you talking about Mike Tomlin's streak being over. That over 500 stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Mason Rudolph as your quarterback, that conversation is done, written in stone, and shipped. Like, not happening. But then with Aaron Rodgers, maybe they go from a 5-win team to that 8 to 10 win range. But What has Aaron Rodgers done to? I mean, it's not like he was a world beater for the Jets. Who knows? We can speculate about it all we want, but who knows? Candy, do you know?
No, I mean, I know it creates the headline. It's the first time in NFL history that two quarterbacks are playing against each other, and they played for the opposite teams in week 1. So the Steelers are playing the Jets, so it'll be Justin Fields versus Aaron Rodgers. And I'm kind of surprised that that's the first time in NFL history that that's happened. But, it'll be interesting. The Steelers don't have the easiest schedule either because they're playing the NFC North. So they're hello, Samir.
Hello.
We are talking about Mr. Drama Queen going to the Steelers, Mr. Aaron Rodgers, and talking about how the Steelers play the NFC North division. So they play the Vikings, the Lions, the Packers, and the Bears. So that also is an interesting storyline because he'll play against both old teams, the Jets and the Packers this year.
Is the game in Green Bay?
I was trying to look up their schedule while we were talking, but I didn't get a chance to see that. Let's see.
Well, here, Candy, while you look that up, I'll hit a couple of comments that came in while you look it up.
Okay.
Let's see. Kane asked, am I sure that the NFL isn't wrestling regarding promos and stuff? Hey, fair question. Mark says that was just Aaron being Aaron. And Kane said, or is it Aaron trying to hold out to get more money? No chance.
No. I mean, he knows he's not going to get that much money at this point in his career. But I mean, their quarterback play improves drastically, even with 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers compared to what they've had before. But I just don't know if it raises the bar or the ceiling for the team as a whole, given who they have in their division alone. If Cincinnati, if they can put in at least like a league average defense, even slightly below, if they can put that on the field, they can definitely be a playoff team if their offense is clicking in all cylinders again. And then Baltimore is Baltimore. We know they're going to be good year in and year out. But then I look at the rest of the AFC. You still got Buffalo. Still got Kansas City. So you still got Buffalo, you still got Kansas City. I think Houston is going to have a bounce back year. So it's 3 teams alone. You got Denver. So that's like 5 or 6 teams I've named right there. So maybe the ceiling is maybe they win a playoff game, but we'll see.
That depends when the Steelers
Right.
Packers are going to be in Pittsburgh.
I was hoping to be in Green Bay.
Well, hey, and Samir, I was going to ask you too. So I just put numbers on it right before you jumped on. And I said Mason Rudolph would have been a 5, maybe 6 win Pittsburgh team versus Aaron Rodgers
9,
put you in that 8 to 10. I was 8 to 10.
Which is about where they've been the last 4 or 5 years.
Oh, yeah, same old.
I mean, I know the defense is a little older now, but I still think they're going to be pretty good. It's just the offense. If they can get all those pieces together, who knows? But I still think overall it's a 9-10 win team. Maybe they win a playoff game.
I get it.
Well, the bad news for us is that it all but confirms that Kirk Cousins will be our backup quarterback this season. I was hoping we could get him off the roster, maybe because during the offseason, as Falcons fans, we were all just kind of looking at the list of, okay, who needs a quarterback? Oh, they're drafting one. They signed one. They traded for Geno. Raiders did. And it's like, okay, the Steelers, what are they going to do? They didn't take one until they took Will Howard. So it was like, okay, maybe we can get them Kirk Cousins, but that fell through.
Mhm.
So looks like he is going to be our backup.
Don't sound too overly thrilled about that, Mr. Samir.
I'm not. I'm not. But
There isn't much to be happy about being a Braves fan or Atlanta
ugh,
fan in general at the moment. We're all kind of sad down here, to be honest.
today was rock bottom. I said that last night, and then said that last week, and then I said that after the Otani walk off in LA. So
Mhm.
Samir, you could be a Marlins fan, and let's face it, the Colorado Rockies came in and swept them at at home. Like, how rock bottom do you get?
I mean, it's just frustrating because I feel like we have talent. I mean, I know we are not a World Series contender, but this should, on paper, there is no reason for this team to be 27-34. There's no reason for them to struggle offensively in any high leverage moment. The second they get runners on, the it's like they forget how to hit. It's crazy. The bullpen's a dumpster fire, and you've got a 70-year-old manager who's probably retiring at the end of the year. I don't know. It's just it
Well,
is
I mean,
they are the least clutch team I've ever seen, and I'm not
right.
exaggerating.
It,
Like
well,
if they had any ounce of clutch in them, they'd be a playoff team right now.
right. Well, and I asked the question yesterday. I said, how many wins? I think they were, this was 3 losses ago.
Yeah.
There were 104 games left. And
Hmm.
I said, what do the Braves need to do to be in the playoff hunt?
Yeah. So right now,
Now it's at like
we
70 and 30.
yeah. So right now we're 7 out. Um, we're 7 out. The Cardinals have that last spot at 34-27. But ahead of us, you've got Giants 35-28, Brewers 34-29, Arizona 31-31, Reds 30-33. The Nationals are ahead of us,
Mhm.
29-33.
I was going to say you could name the teams behind us and get it over with quicker.
Yeah, well, you got the Marlins 23-30. The Marlins are only 4 games or only 3.5 games behind the Braves.
Yeah, there's
The
only
Pirates
3 of them.
are only 4.5 behind the Braves, and you got the Rockies.
Yeah.
So
That's the Braves were not built to be the 4th best record in the National League. Like
you mean fourth worst?
4th best for worse. Yes, correct. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and again, as I
thank you.
said, they're not a World Series team. Like they're not better than the Padres and the Dodgers, and depending on who you ask, the Phillies and the Mets. But this should be a playoff team. Like this should be a 90-91 win team. That's about where I had them going into the season.
Right. Well, hey, Candy, we went down this rabbit hole a little bit. Let me ask this question because Samir missed this earlier too. My dirty C words: coaching, chemistry, culture, commitment, camaraderie, cash, all of these things. The Braves, though, obviously have a coaching issue. They don't have a talent and a culture issue.
Yeah.
I honestly think, and I think you've said it, Brian Snitker is asleep at the wheel.
Yes.
Am I misquoting you?
No. I've said that directly, and for me, it's like the housekeeping stuff. Like this twice this season, like you've had to have players come and tell you, like, hey, I think this guy's hurt. You know, your AJ Smith Shaver, and then recently, Daysbel Hernandez. Like, how is the coaching staff not seeing these things? And then you didn't see Jared Kelenic pimp a single and get thrown out at second. Like, it's just the housekeeping things and the lack of attention to detail. You
Like
keep
your pitcher blowing out his elbow and you not noticing?
right.
How do How did Spencer Strider have to be the one to come alert the coaching staff?
Or third baseman, highest paid player in Braves history, making errors, and you're throwing the ground screw under the bus. Like,
Marcell Ozuna has a hip tear.
has a hip tear, and they don't put him on the IR or on
He
the IL.
wants to play through it. He
Yeah,
wants
but
to play through it, Samir.
I know, but you got to do what's best for the team. I said the same thing with Raheem Morris and Kirk Cousins in that debacle. Like, you've got to do what's best for the team. You've got a 24-year-old rookie who's hitting the crap out of the ball. Have him DH until Ozuna gets back. Like, it's just a lack of attention to detail. Alex Anthopoulos, this bullpen is a joke. I don't understand how you could, again, see AJ Minter leave, Joe Amen is out for the season, and not decide to add to the bullpen. It's mind-boggling.
It is. And Candy, I'll let you steer this Titanic away from the iceberg after I say this one last thing.
Okay.
What in the world is Freddie Gonzalez going to do for me? Like, I knew this was a bad joke the minute they said, oh, yeah, we're bringing back our failed manager. This is like the Gamecocks hiring the failed head coach of the Clemson Tigers. Listen, I'm not a fan of leftovers. I'll eat the ones out of my own kitchen.
Right.
But I especially don't like leftovers from other people's kitchen. But this Freddie Gonzalez thing, man, it does nothing for me.
I mean, it's not a good move or a bad move. It's a nothing move.
It prevents a couple of people from getting thrown out going to home plate, maybe.
Right.
Or going back to second for no reason.
Yeah. Doesn't change that they can't hit in the clutch. Bullpen stinks. The manager, again, is asleep at the wheel. Third baseman making errors is the ground crew's fault. What else? And people keep saying, Liberty Media ownership, they're handcuffing Alex Anthopoulos. Yeah, part of that's true. But you're telling me that they were handcuffing you from going out and finding a shortstop that can hit? You're telling me you couldn't find another fourth or fifth starter? Because you knew Strider, you knew his velocity wasn't going to be what it was in 22 and 23. We knew that. So you had to replace Max Fried in some velocity. And you couldn't, like, you're telling me you couldn't go out and get Jose Quintana? Or, like, why did we non-tender Griffin Canning? Like, it's just all the things that add up. And this is what we've got. But as I said, after that loss today, it's probably the worst loss I've seen in a long time. Maybe since Game 5 of the NLDS in 2019. But something's got to change. It was bad. In case you didn't know, they were up 10-4, top of the ninth.
Mm-hmm. 7 runs.
And 7 runs. They lose 11-10. Home crowd booed at the end of the game. You normally don't see that in Atlanta. The only time I've really seen that was with the Falcons, but this is definitely the first time I've seen the Braves get booed at home.
Right. Well,
it was that bad.
Well, Candy, I lied. I did have one more thing since Samir just reminded me of that.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about Brian Snitker just being oblivious and not knowing what's going on during the game sometimes. But somehow or another said he was too focused on the game to hear the boos. Man, stop lying to me, bro.
Right.
No, stop lying to me.
You heard those. You know you heard them.
And you know you weren't paying attention to the game. Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me, Brian Snitker.
Yeah, but it was terrible. I mean, I like him. I mean, seems like a nice guy. He's basically given his entire life to the organization. But thank you for your decades of service. But you have to go tonight. Like, Like he wouldn't even be on the plane to San Francisco if I had my way. It was that bad.
Ouch.
Because like,
horrible.
and again, for me, it's just you look at the body language of the team, how they play in the clutch. Like it's just this mental thing where whatever the message is from the staff to the down in the clubhouse or in the dugout, it's just not resonating. And you want to see signs of a poorly managed or a poorly coached team in any sport. This team is a game of whack-a-mole. On nights they hit, they can't pitch. The pitching falls apart. On nights they pitch, Chris Sale, 7 innings, 1-run ball, pitched a great game. They lost because they couldn't hit. Second and third, no outs in the 8th. Eventually load the bases, can't get the run across. They load the bases again in the 9th. They strand him. And then when they hit, like when they did today, when they scored 10 runs, the bullpen just falls apart. Raisel Iglesias, why is he still here? You DFA'd Scott Blue. Like, why is Raisel Iglesias still closing? It's insane. And again, it just starts at the top. Because again, while they're not a World Series team, they are a playoff team. And they have too much talent to be 7 games under 500. And I keep saying it. I've been saying it. Something's got to change. Someone's either got to get fired or someone's got to get traded. Or you got to get rid of somebody. And I think right now, he's got, like, Brian Snitker has to go. He's got to go. It's ridiculous. Like,
I hear you.
I would give him the option. You either resign or we'll give you a chance to resign, or you're going to get fired, because this is where we're at right now.
Saturday and Sunday, Scott and I were down at Marlins Park, and I sat there and I looked at, now I don't know if any of you have seen any of the pictures lately of Marlins Park and the huge crowds that they're drawing, the 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 fans, maybe. But like I'll give them credit because they are trying, but to leave 11 men on base, like that's just like, you got to do better. You got to do better in getting some of those. I mean, they lost the game, of course. They're not, like I said, they let Colorado come in and sweep them. I mean, Colorado hasn't won a series. It was games, 10, 11, and 12 now that they won for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
These teams that are bad. And like, it's not just Atlanta, it's Marlins. There's a couple of them out there.
Yeah, I mean, with all due respect, the Braves have a lot more talent than those teams.
I would agree with that.
Mhm.
I would agree with that. Yes. But I think it goes to show you how there are the more elite teams that are having the success, have talent as well, but they've got to have something else that the Braves are missing.
Right.
Well, for me, number one, and we've talked about it for 2 years, there's no leadership. There's no vocal leader. I feel like Austin Riley and Ozzie Albies, I feel like they're more kind of like quiet leaders. Like they lead by their play on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no Freddie Freeman in the clubhouse like, hey, what's going on? Like, hey, we're not doing this or that. And that's what's been missing. And it shows. Like, they are just a mentally soft team. The least clutch team I've ever seen.
JD, you were going to say something?
They do. They seem like a bunch of individuals.
Yeah.
And I know one of my guys over here, P Digits, he always says baseball is a weird game. It's a funny game. We've seen it in the College World Series stuff so far, the tournament. The best team does not always win. I had that argument with somebody the other day. They said, well, if they win a 7-game series, aren't they the better team? And I was like, well, were the Cavaliers a better team than the Warriors in 2016? There's many more examples. So no, the best team doesn't always win. And the Braves, though, they have this roster on paper, like we've said.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and baseball's a weird game college baseball. I know we've got some college softball talk coming up. So
Mhm.
just
Take
to
us
tie
there.
all of that together.
Take us there, JD.
Well, I told my listeners the other day, Samir, have you tuned in to the Women's College World Series at all?
Unfortunately, I haven't, but I've heard it's pretty exciting though.
Dude, it's awesome. I love women's sports. I'm a huge fan of watching women's sports. These women college softball games, though, have been off the rails. The rules and stuff that some of these girls do not know. So I've got 3 quick stories, and then we'll go to you guys for your reaction. All right. Play number 1, Tennessee, UCLA. First and second. First inning. Runners on first and second. 1 out. Hitter hits a fly ball that goes just beyond the infield. I'm sure you guys have heard of the rule before. The infield fly rule.
Mm-hmm.
Samir, you've heard of that before, right?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty familiar.
So if there's a runner at first and second and the batter hits a ball that can be deemed to be a fly ball inside the infield, the batter is automatically out. Therefore, anything that happens on the base paths after that, it's not a force play. So this particular example, the hitter hit a fly ball, runners at first and second. The shortstop missed the ball. She picked it up. The batter was automatically out, so that was 2 outs. She picked up the ball and threw it to third and thought that she got a force out. And the runner thought that as well. The runner entered the dugout, even though she had to be tagged. But the moment she entered the dugout, she was called out. And Tennessee got away with a game-changing play in the first inning.
Crazy.
But these girls didn't know the infield fly rule. What do you, I mean, is that a bad thing about women's sports?
How do you get to the World Series and not know the fly rule? Like, I could see that in the first game of the season, maybe, but not. Wow, crazy.
Not on that stage, right?
No. I mean, I've played softball before. I know that rule, and I didn't play in college. I played in high school, but I didn't play in college.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's wild. So, okay, so play number 2 that I saw in the Women's College World Series. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you hit a home run, what is the job?
Run the bases.
Run the bases. Touch all of them.
Touch all of them. Exactly. Have y'all seen the player from UCLA? She hit a game-tying home run against also this game, Tennessee, the one I was just talking about in the first inning. Of course, it comes down to a game-tying home run later. Y'all, she ran the bases, and when I say she stomped, she was like trying to kill the devil. She stomped so hard, but not on home plate. She stomped. I'm telling you. You ever seen those Hulk videos where like they crunch concrete and sand? I mean, this girl, she stomped her foot. She hit that home run. Wah! Missed home plate. Her teammate had to tell her to touch home plate. They reviewed the play. They acknowledged that she missed the plate, but said the fact that her teammate assisted her was not part of the review. Tennessee ultimately went on to win the game. But that home run, just because you can't review that your teammate assisted you there, like I said, you got one job. You hit a home run. Samir, Candy, what were they? Y'all tell me. What do you think about that one?
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know what else to think of it besides that.
How do you
It
not
was
know
wild.
you got to touch all the bases?
It wasn't even that she didn't know, you know.
Right.
But in that, I mean, you're in this huge moment. And you come home. How, like, if you're trying to kick somebody, if you're trying to throw a softball, you know where to throw it. You know what I mean? Like, you know where to hit, you know where to kick, you know where to do all this stuff. And how can you miss
Home plate.
the one? Yeah, the one little diamond. My goodness. Maybe that girl will never see a diamond. I don't know. That might be too harsh. I'm sorry, y'all.
Ouch.
And
what was
then
story number 3?
number 3. Have y'all ever seen an intentional walk turn into a hit?
I think I have before, years ago.
I think there were some in baseball for sure. And you know, now they've gotten rid of that rule. You can just say, hey, I want to walk that guy.
Right.
Just go to first. They don't have that in college softball. So last night in the series to win it all, Texas Tech and Texas are in their game 1. This girl from Texas, she's hit a bunch of home runs. And the Texas Tech pitcher is trying to walk her. So the catcher's standing up. And I'm telling you, this girl, she throws one. Like, if I'm a spiteful umpire, I would have called it a strike. And she was trying to intentionally walk the girl and threw a strike. Umpire let it go. Next pitch, she threw it way outside. She was good. Third pitch of an intentional walk. Base hit between the third baseman and the shortstop. Scores 2 runs for Texas, and they won 2-1. You lost the game because you couldn't intentionally walk somebody.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
Wow. Not knowing how to do things. I mean, how do you not know how to intentionally walk somebody? Like, again, you're in the World Series, so it's not like this is the first game of the season.
Kane defends him. He says it's an amateur sport. True. We don't give college football that leeway, though.
No.
We expect them all to be professionals, which, I mean, at this point, they pretty much are, but that's a different story for a different day. But I love women's sports, but it creates drama. It's been entertaining. I love it. I love seeing these rules come into play.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Chargers in the NFL had that crazy rule this year.
What rule?
Where they got to kick that field goal. The Chargers. It was like kick, catch, interference.
I think I know what you're talking about.
On the last play before a half or something.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you get to kick like a 65-yard or whatever yard field goal. Yeah. But yeah, you still got to know these rules. But listen, like I said, love women's sports.
Speaking of women's sports, there is a women's league that is going to start this weekend. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Major League Baseball is partnering with Pro Women's League, backing the launch of the new Athletes Unite Unlimited Softball League. The deal includes funding, marketing support, and game broadcasts on MLB Network and MLB.com, giving the league a major platform and signaling a milestone moment for women's sports. The AUSL season kicks off June 4th with 4 teams playing 24 games across 10 cities. The top 2 teams will meet in Alabama for the best of 3 championship series at Rhodes Stadium. Founded in 2020, the Athletes Unlimited has raised $30 million plus in funding from investors including Kevin Durant, Rich Kleiman's 35V, Angela Ruggiero, David Blitzer, and it has former Marlins GM Kim Ng as the league's first commissioner. So that starts this weekend. Your thoughts about a professional women's softball league?
I don't see why not. I mean, you've got professional women's basketball, and I'm pretty sure you have a women's football league too, or at least you used to. So, I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, I feel like it'd be good for the game. It'd be good to have that kind of financial backing and support for high-profile individuals such as Kim Ng, as you mentioned, who was a part of the MLB for several years. So, I think it's a good thing.
I agree. JD, your thoughts?
Well, I just went down a rabbit hole in my mind about it. All of these women's sports, please give it to me and I'll shoot them up. Like, I love it. I'm all for sports, especially give them to me when football isn't happening or any one of the other sports that I like. I mean, as long as it's not my team's NFL game or my college team's football game, I'm really not locked in. Like, my attention is there for the grabbing. And women's softball does it for me, women's college basketball. But what I was thinking, though, is Samir mentioned women's football. But now we're talking about flag football in the Olympics. And so my thought is that I just fixed NFL's globalization that they want. I just fixed it in my brain just off of what you said. Samir, we don't need an Olympic football flag team.
We don't.
What we need is a women's flag football team. And then guess what? You get those women from other countries interested in this flag football that ultimately stemmed from the NFL. But if you get the women, guess what else you get? The men.
Mm-hmm.
The men. We all want to support women's sports. We are all for it.
Second.
Like, a lot of people try to make it all about men shouldn't be talking about women's sports and this, that, and the third. No. You want us talking about it. And if the NFL can somehow garner praise from women from other countries with flag football, I think that's the far better route than trying to use NFL players in a flag football league in the Olympics or whatever. And that was the rabbit hole I went down real quick. All of that happened real quick. My bad, y'all.
It's all good. It's all good. Samir, you want to talk a little bit about your Falcons? Because I know you wrote a story for the South Florida Tribune about them.
Yeah. So 2025 is a big year for the Falcons. A lot of jobs are on the line this year in the coaching staff and in the front office. Terry Fontenot especially is entering year 5 as general manager. He has yet to post a winning season. The first 2 years, to his credit, he did inherit a team that was deep into cap hill. They had an aging roster, and he really couldn't make that many moves his first 2 years. They were in the process of offloading Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and a few other people, but they were competitive. They were somewhat competitive. They went 7-10 in back-to-back years when they were predicted to win about 4 or 5 games. 2023, they made some improvements to the roster, added guys like Jesse Bates, David Onyemata, Caden Ellis to help your defense. They added Mike Hughes as well, Bud Dupree, Calais Campbell, and defense improved, especially under Ryan Nielsen. Still in 7-10 because he had bad quarterback play. He had Arthur Smith, who was eventually fired. But here we are, 2024. And look, this is really what and here's why Terry Fontenot is on the hot seat. 2021 draft. Let's talk about it. 4th overall to start a rebuild. So, Southern Fried, tell me, if you are an NFL GM and you are starting a rebuild, what positions are you drafting if you have a pick, especially an early pick, especially in the top 5?
You're muted, JD.
My bad. It depends on what situation I'm in, honestly.
So
I hear you though, but
Yeah.
it just generically, I'm not going quarter. I'm going linebacker.
Yeah, for me, it also depends on the situation, but if I'm starting a rebuild, I'm doing quarterback, offensive line, defensive line, maybe depending on the situation, if there's a can't miss player at that position, wide receiver or corner. Would you draft a tight end in the top 5 when you have needs on your offensive line? Your pass rush has been abysmal for several years, and outside of AJ Terrell at that time, your secondary wasn't very good.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what they did. They took Kyle Pitts, 4th overall, highest drafted tight end in NFL history.
Mm-hmm.
They took him over. Penei Sewell, Jamar Chase, Micah Parsons, Patrick Surtain. Just a few guys to name, guys who probably could have helped our team, could have had us in a better position. But with that being said, I did write an article about the 5 Falcons that were, I would say, that had the most to prove in 2025. They were Troy Anderson, Ruka Rororo, Ryan Newsill, Michael Penix, and number 1 Kyle Pitts. I mentioned Troy Anderson because he's a linebacker. We drafted him in the 2nd round. I believe it was. So we draft Troy Anderson in the 2nd round, 58th overall. Okay, we draft him 58th overall out of Montana State. We took Troy Anderson over the fall. Oh, and Arnold. Well, we took Troy Anderson mainly if we wanted to go linebacker. Nakobe Dean was on the board and right in our backyard too, for the record. We could add Nakobe Dean if we wanted to go linebacker, but I understand why they didn't because of his injury history. So, but ironically, Troy Anderson has missed 25 games the last 2 years. He's shown flashes at times, including a pick 6 against the Saints, 16 tackles last year, 1 defensive player of the week, but he just hasn't been able to stay on the field. So we have Caden Ellis, we've got Divine Diablo signed, and Jalen Walker's versatile. He can play at edge. He can also play off ball. But yeah, it's a big year for him. It's his last chance to live up to that 2nd round billing of being a top 60 pick. Ruka Rororo, Grady Jarrett's not here anymore. And we're going to play some talented linebackers this year, including some in our division. So we need Rook to not only stay healthy, but we need him to step up and step up right away. Ryan Newsill, kind of similar situation. You lose Drew Dahlman, who was a Pro Bowl alternate. He helped facilitate our run game the last few years. One of the better run blocking centers in the league. He's in Chicago now. Ryan Newsill's run blocking grade was about 60 according to PFF. He only started 8 games and was the most penalized center in the league. Again, we're going to need more consistent play from him and cut down the penalties. Michael Penix, obviously, when probably the most bizarre draft pick in recent memory. Looking back at it, it's a good thing we did it, because we'd be going, because there would be I don't know, if we didn't draft Michael Penix, I don't know where we'd be right now. But he showed a lot of flashes. He's shown that he's shown poise. He's got the arm. He can read the field, and he can make the throws when you need him to make the throws. We saw that on 4th and goal against the Commanders with the season on the line. We saw that 300-yard game against Carolina, Week 18. The defense let him down. Even though it's a small sample size, it's promising, but we need to see a full 18-game set from him. And then the obvious one is Kyle Pitts. Again, as I was talking about, highest drafted tight end in NFL history. Had a great season, rookie year, second rookie tight end ever to reach 1,000 yards. Penix is a dude. Yeah. I feel good about him being our quarterback. He can spin it. But anyways, Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts is on track to be one of the biggest busts in Falcons history. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, usually when you talk about the biggest bust in Falcons history, you think of Andre Bruce, defensive end out of Auburn. We drafted him first overall in the 80s. You think of Jamal Anderson, not the running back, not the dirty bird. You think of Jamal Anderson, the defensive end. Drafted him in 8th overall in 07. And then you think of Takk McKinley is one for me. Another defensive end, we took him over TJ Watt. So right now, Kyle Pitts is on track to be arguably one of the biggest busts in Falcons history. 1,000-yard season. Second year got injured. Third and fourth year, nothing. And you see all these Falcons fans on Twitter saying, oh, but he don't have a quarterback. Oh, look at his quarterback. Oh, Arthur Smith. Oh, Zach Robinson. Can somebody tell me the set of quarterbacks that Brock Bowers played with? Brock Bowers had a quarterback room of Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew, Desmond Ridder, and still put up around 1,100 yards and had over – I think he had over 100 catches. Oh, keep in mind, Kyle's teammate, Drake London. Drake London had a breakout year playing with the same set of quarterbacks. Drake London, his first 2 years in the league, had more catches than Julio Jones did his first 2 years in the league. And Julio Jones had Matt Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the thing that bothers me is it's just the fact that, in my opinion, like, he just doesn't care. He's got the talent. He's got the potential. He doesn't care. Like, there are clips of him during games visibly loafing. One that comes to mind, the Chargers game this past season. Loafing during a route, incomplete pass. Bucks game, his second touchdown, he's walking to the end zone. Antoine, you may have seen it. Antoine Winfield was coming from behind him, knocks the ball out. Luckily, he just got over the goal line before the ball came out, cost us a touchdown. Again, there's clips over the years of him just like not finishing his routes, not really giving 100%. He's made comments during press conferences, like along the lines of, "Oh, I'm just here. I just work here." Like, he is checked out. And that's why I was saying the Falcons needed to trade him this offseason. Because even if let's say Penix unlocks him like some Falcons fans think they are, and he has this great year, there's a pretty long line of guys that I would pay on the Falcons before Michael Penix. Jesse Bates is 1 year left on his deal after this year. Drake London and Bijan Robinson, if they both have good years again, they're going to get paid. If Penix has about 2 more good years, we're going to have to pay him. So I just don't see how you can pay Kyle Pitts. And people are like, oh, if he goes to another team and goes off, then what? All right, good for him. Good for him. You can find productive tight ends in any round. It's one of those positions where you can find that production in any round. Antonio Gates was undrafted. He's one of the best tight ends to ever play the game. Algie Crumpler and Austin Hooper, both were multi-time Pro Bowlers for the Falcons. They were drafted in the 2nd and 3rd round, respectively. So, can we just stop as Falcons fans making or coming up with every excuse in the book for a 4th overall pick? Like, seriously. Like, this is it for them. That's all I got to say.
Kyle
JD,
Pitts.
any thoughts
Kyle
on
Pitts was a dude coming out of college. I mean,
was.
a lot of NFL teams get fooled picking up a dude that has a lot of hype. I mean, Panthers traded up for Xavier Leggett. Great wide receiver, but he only had 1 great year. And it wasn't even good. I mean, it was average. Like 80 catches, 1,000 yards. I mean, it wasn't anything crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But you got the Panthers trading up to draft him in the 1st round. Anthony Richardson.
Oh, yeah.
That was when I was
Anthony Richardson was one I saw coming from a mile away. I thought he should have stayed another year at Florida.
He had less than like a 50% completion rating. I mean, these teams, though, they just, I don't know. Maybe they're drafting based on Twitter followers, which we all want all of you to do. Yeah. Follow us all on X or Twitter.
The thing is, like, I feel like a lot of these GMs, they get enamored by these numbers at the combine or by these tangibles that a certain player has, and they end up overdrafting them. Well, the thing is, if they're in the NFL, they have tangibles. They have something they do really well, like Troy Anderson. Troy Anderson was overdrafted from the start, and I said it then. Like, he was a great athlete in college, played several positions. I think he played both sides. He played on both ends too occasionally at a Montana State. But again, if you're in the NFL, you're a great athlete. But that doesn't mean you necessarily that you're going to be a good player in the NFL. And back to the Kyle Pitts thing. Look, Kyle Pitts, this is per tracking data. He ranks 41st out of 43 tight ends at getting open. Posted a career low 1.3 yards per route run and was 75th in run blocking. Those aren't numbers you want out of the highest drafted tight end in NFL history. But look, I mean, I'll admit he was a dog at Florida. Like, I remember in that SEC championship against Alabama, he was arguably the best player on Florida's offense. It seems that a lot of players drafted high become busts. I attribute it to bad team management. Kane, I agree that is the case sometimes. Like, look at the Browns and the Jets and how they handle quarterbacks. Like, that is bad team management. When you strike out time and time again, like, that's a sign. But there are cases where, like, you could have a case where injuries stop a player from meeting their potential, or just someone like Kyle Pitts who's just not all in.
But isn't not all in?
Scenarios.
Isn't that not all in kind of going back to management and your coaching and not getting everybody on board on the same page as well.
Yeah, and that's part of it. Like towards the end of the season, he was outsnapped by Charlie Warner. Like he was getting outsnapped by Charlie Warner. So he was kind of like partially benched, if you wanted to call it that, but I don't know. It's just like I get it, but I just wish Falcons fans would stop finding every excuse in the book for this guy. He's a bad pick. He was a bust. He's not the only bust. And there's going to be more. Let's admit it. And let's move on.
Yeah, did you hear that, Falcons fans? Samir just fried y'all up on Fire Up. Get off of his back and get off of Kyle Pitts' butt. He sucks. He's a bust.
I mean, well, he doesn't suck. He just hasn't panned out.
You said he sucked, basically. That's what we cooked it up to.
Let's face it, there's a lot of draft picks out there that probably we expected better from them, and part of it is and you have to agree, I would think you would agree with this, part of it is the organization that you get drafted into and what kind of support do you have. Let's face it, most of us would agree that Trevor Lawrence going to Jacksonville might and the coaches that he's had, let's face it, his first year he had Urban Meyer. We all know how that ended. Like they let him go after 1 year. So, and then you get Doug Peterson, and don't get me wrong, Doug Peterson is really good, but you don't have the supporting cast around him either. So some of these, especially these high draft picks, let's face it, they're going to bad teams because that's the reason why they're picking so high. And so do they have the talent to help them succeed? And do they have the right coaching staff and like just because someone you pick, let's face it, for college, you really pick where you're going to go. Especially that college coaches are now coming out, they're recruiting you more. And it's not so much the same in pros because all of a sudden you're getting drafted by a team. And the question is are you going to get along with the whole team? And you could be drafted by the team, but let's face it, you could have been drafted by the Lions, but their offensive coordinator and their defensive coordinator are not the same as that was last year. And you might not gel with the new one, but you might have gelled with the old. So I think it is very different in NFL than it is. And you're an adult now. So I think sometimes you have a different outlook. Whereas in college, you're kind of still, I'm young, I'm trying to develop. But now once you get drafted to the NFL, you have a different mindset.
Oh, yeah, some of them.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be like, yeah, I made it.
Yep.
I don't have anything more to work for.
Right.
I wanted to get to the NFL and made it there. The ones who are great, though, no.
No, but this isn't,
Yeah. But, I mean, it's an excellent point. All of the worst teams always draft the best players from college. But that goes back to what we said earlier, too. Does the best team always win? No. Best players also don't always turn out to be the best players.
I think, Mark, we're going to switch to what you just brought up, 4-point game. Well, it's a little bit more than a 4-point game right now, but the NBA Finals.
Indiana's made a run.
Yeah, see, they've made a run.
So what are we thinking of the NBA Finals? Who do we think is going to take it? How many games? What are we thinking?
I think Indiana had a great run, but I think OKC is just that much better. I think they'll take it in 5. Indiana will get one at home, but OKC in 5.
I saw somebody say OKC in 5 earlier, and OKC, if they do win, I think it'll be in 6. not 5. But if Indiana were to win, I think it would be in 7. But as far as my prediction, and I hate predictions. Hate them because I'm never right. So
I should always bet on
OKC.
the opposite of what you say, JD. Is that what you're telling me?
I mean, if anybody wants to make money, yeah. Because I promise you, there's no way I'm getting inside information because I am always wrong. Like literally always. So I say OKC in 6, but I want Indiana to win.
That is exactly my take. I want Indiana to win. I don't think they have, although they have put up, they're a scrappy team that keeps fighting and keeps clawing back. So I see OKC. I think it's going to be 6, but I'd prefer Indy to take it. So
Yeah.
And I'll say this: it won't be 5 because that's bad business for the NBA. It'll at least be 6 games.
Well, we'll see. But I just think it's only because OKC is just that much better. And
NBA wouldn't let it happen, though, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
Period.
but,
There will be a game 6.
I mean, NBA won't let it happen. I could see that argument if they were playing like a big market team in the East, like Boston or New York, or hypothetically, if Miami had made it, Miami. But I mean, this isn't a knock on Indiana, but it's just not the same.
Right.
just small market. I get
Well,
it.
and then my other argument, though, too, would be OKC is the home team. So game 5 is in Indiana.
Game 5 would be in OKC.
2-2-1-1.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah. It'll go to 6. At least.
I could see it if Indiana steals a game on the road, which I don't know if they will. Well, it could. I think OKC and Indiana, hands down, are the two that have had the 2 best home court advantages in
Right.
the playoffs. Like you see these other games, half the people there don't have shirts on. Like everyone's got their shirts on. Like,
OKC is getting fouled a lot right now, too, of course.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
108.99, 250 to go.
See, and I have a different score, so
Yeah,
that's
you're probably a bit ahead of me.
just a little bit, yeah. Did either of you, and I don't know how big of hockey fans you guys are, did either of you watch the Stanley Cup Finals, the first game last night?
I did not watch.
I did not watch. I just saw the highlight. I just know Edmonton won.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued by a Canadian team winning.
What I will say, because I watched part of it, it was a very intense, very hard fought game. I see this series being hard fought as opposed to being real one sided. Sometimes you get more one sided. I think Edmonton is obviously they're hungry because it's a rematch of last year and they lost to Florida last year. They were home last night, so they play again tomorrow night at home, and then Florida takes it back to home down here to Florida. That it's going to be a good series, and I don't normally say that. I don't watch a lot of hockey. I do watch some, but the one thing I will say that is interesting is this is the first time since 2008 that an NHL and its AHL affiliate are both vying for their respective cups. So the Florida Panthers are, vying for the Stanley Cup, and their AHL affiliate, the Charlotte Checkers, reached the Calder Cup finals. So that's kind of cool and kind of something different.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
When I was down in Charleston, the minor league team there was really good. And then we've got the Swamp Rabbits here in Greenville, where I'm from.
okay.
Minor league hockey, yeah. I wish I could see the puck, but I can't.
So there's actually it's.
I was gonna say, Candy, do you want to do a station break and we'll watch
Yep.
the rest of this game live?
Sounds good. Sounds
It's
good.
getting close. It's getting down to it.
It's a minute left. So
Yeah. 110, 107, right?
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
So South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book, Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. It is written by my husband, Scott, the Motor City Madmouth Morganroth. Talks about media and how media has changed over his 40 plus years in the business. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content. You have to check out all the great content we have on the network. If you like to listen to a podcast, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Monday nights, we talk baseball. Tuesday nights, we talk football. Wednesday nights on Sports Exchange, you never know what we're talking about. Thursday nights on Sports Wrap, we talk hockey, at least during the hockey season. I know they're going to take a couple months off soon. And then on Fire Up, you never know what we were going to be talking about. We talk a lot of NFL, but you just never know. And then if you want to advertise or sponsor a show, you can call my husband, Scott, 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest on a show or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. I know they went to a station break. It is very close, though. And OKC has really been beating them most of the game.
Yeah, 110 to 109, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so this play, they called it out on Indiana, but it looked like a foul a little bit to me. This game's gotten wild, though, y'all.
This is crazy because Halliburton has only 12 points. Indiana has 25 turnovers, but they're only down by 1.
And we all know Indiana's had those comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
They've literally done it against every team they've played so far.
Mm-hmm.
They're on a 10-2 run right now. It was 108 to 99. And they're down 110 to 109. My goodness. I watched the Halliburton shot against the Knicks. I watched that one live. I thought Halliburton was about to do it again for me a minute ago with that 3, but he missed it.
Yeah.
They're showing this play again on my screen.
Yeah, they're reviewing it. They're back to reviewing it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely out on the Indiana guy, but you can't call a foul, right?
No,
You can't come back and call a foul.
I don't think so either.
I don't get what they're looking at.
After further review, they're doing something. I should have had my closed caption on so I could read what they were saying.
Oh, I know. I keep my closed captioning on. I do. People hate me for it, but I do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. It's a 1-point game I just saw.
Mm-hmm. It is. And it's
After review.
OKC's ball. So 110, 109, 22.8 seconds left.
I don't understand why it took them so long to look at that.
I don't know.
Well, unless you're going to go back and call a foul, like I said, which you can't.
Whoop.
They just wasted time out of our day for no reason. Hey, we need another commercial. Y'all review this for no reason. Okay,
0.3 seconds and Indiana just scored. 111 to 110.
Oh my gosh.
Seconds.
Bruh,
4, 3,
told you.
2. Oh my gosh. Wow.
That's why I told you we need to watch this live.
Yep. It's crazy.
I
Burton's dad right there.
told y'all. Listen,
Wow.
death, taxes, and Halliburton being clutch in the
Halliburton is clutch.
2025
I'll give him
playoff.
that. I know right before the playoffs, they voted him like the most overrated player in the league. He responded. I'll give
Oh
him that.
yeah,
He
and
responded.
He took that
He
personally.
took it personally.
I took that personally. I'm so glad we decided to do that live.
Yep.
That was great.
Isn't that crazy? Wow.
Hey, you want to change your prediction now?
I'm
We just said
still going
something
OKC. I'm
about
still going
Indiana
OKC in
stealing
5.
one at home.
Yep.
All right, I'm still going OKC in 5.
That 4 straight. Ain't no way you can tell me they can beat Indiana 4 straight.
Yeah.
We'll see. Okay, maybe you might be right about 6. We'll see. I'm still going 5 though.
Oh,
Salute to that, brother.
that's funny.
Samir, you're right about a lot of things too. Trust me.
Well, there's still 0.3 seconds left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they can
Trust me.
inbound
Hey,
the ball right here.
I'm never right about anything. We might both be wrong. It might be game 7, bro.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Oh,
That'd be good
timeout,
for
of
the
course.
Hold on.
I mean, Indiana, their defense, Halliburton.
Timeout OKC.
I mean, I do think it's possible it goes 7. I really wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised with 5, 6, or 7. I mean, I'm a sports fan. I think the NBA wants it to go at least 6 games, though. I mean, they're in the money making business.
Correct. It's a business, like you said. Yep.
It's not like they're gonna cancel the Super Bowl.
Right.
But oh yeah, we just can't make this $1 billion this year. We're just gonna cancel. Like, obviously, the more games in the finals, the better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is it pro wrestling? No, Kane, it's not pro wrestling. But it wouldn't surprise. There's storylines, obviously. Aaron Rodgers against the Jets, week 1. We've talked about it all here on the show tonight.
Exactly. Okay. They're back out on the court.
0.3 seconds.
I mean, can this just be the Braves and we just go ahead and send them home for the season? But only send this game home for the night. Send the Braves home for the season. Let's just call this a Pacers win and get it over with.
So I agree with you, Mark. Everyone is overlooking Indiana, and they're relentless and fast-paced, so they can come back quick. They do. They have a way of, being scrappy and somehow winning games, and they beat some good teams.
And they just beat.
Yep, they took the first game in OKC.
Wow. And you saw it here live on the South Florida Tribune.
Exactly. Crazy. But okay, well, my town. We haven't done my town.
All right.
JD, you want to start us up with my town?
Yeah, so my town, I ranted about the softball earlier already. My other rant is to my rival team, and not for the reason you would think. Normally, if you want to rant on your rival team, it's because of hatred. That's not the case. I'm actually disappointed. Clemson Tigers I picked you to make it to the College World Series this year, and you fell dramatically short in epic fashion. So, Clemson Tigers. Normally, I would be happy that you lost, but today we get fried together. I was wrong with my prediction, and y'all were not the baseball team I thought you were. Have a great off season, and that is it for JD's Town.
Samir.
Yeah. So Falcons had some more OTAs this week. It was revealed on the Legacy Locker Room podcast with Harry Douglas, Roddy White, and Julio Jones. They were all wide receivers and teammates for the Falcons back when they were really good. It's kind of a poorly kept secret that the Falcons and Julio Jones are currently not on good terms. The relationship hasn't been great since he left. And on that podcast, he revealed that he played through a hamstring injury in 2020. He wasn't happy with the fact that they decided to fire Dan Quinn when they did, even though it was something that needed to happen at the time, given the state of the team. And when right after that happened, the owner, Arthur Blank, held a press conference, and he was asked about what the plan was for Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. And he said that the new regime, the new coach and GM would evaluate that. And Julio wanted to meet with Arthur Blank personally. And according to him, he wasn't granted that meeting. And then you have Arthur Smith peddling this idea around saying that, Julio doesn't practice, somewhere along those lines. That's what ticked Julio off, and that's what led to him wanting to leave. So, some old news, but revelation from that podcast. It's a pretty good podcast, though, for those who haven't listened to it. Hawks, again, quiet on that realm. Nothing noteworthy. Just some pre-draft stuff. Still trying to find or make a decision on their next president of basketball operations. I've already ranted in large part about the Braves, both now and earlier and on Twitter, just about the state of the team. Game starts at 10 o'clock tomorrow. It's 11:12. You've got a little under 24 hours to do it, Braves. You have a little under 24 hours to do it. Fire Brian Snitker. That's all I got to say.
And my town, I'm going to go back to Wisconsin and go back to my alma mater. Dominant in one of the most dominant performances in NC2A Division III championship history, the University of Wisconsin Whitewater baseball team secured the national title with a 21-5 win over Messiah University. The Warhawks scored 74 runs over the course of their 5 games at the World Series. It was a Division III record to hoist the championship trophy for the 3rd time in their program history. So kudos to University of Wisconsin Whitewater Division III baseball team.
They smoked them, Candy.
Hey, they did. That's awesome. That's awesome. And that is my alma mater. So kudos to them. Well, with that being said, I first want to thank everybody that's been in the chat room. Thank you so much for all your comments and your giving us ideas and interacting with us. We appreciate that. With that being said, Samir, tell everybody how they can find you, support you.
You can find me on X at ATL_Samir2401 for Atlanta Sports Discourse, and I'll be posting all my articles on there. You can find me on Instagram you can find me on Instagram at samir.sidelinenet. I'll try to post a lot of my content on there as well. And you can find me on Fired Up on a Thursday night.
Awesome. Okay, JD, how can people find you?
You can find me tagging Samir, who just disappeared himself there really quickly. They caught me off guard. Sorry. Samir, though, great stuff. You can find me tagging Samir on X at JDWyatt06. YouTube at Southern Fried Sports. JD, Kane, Mark, Chuck, Candy, Samir. It's always a lovely time. I think we always have a great conversation.
We do.
We just saw a great comeback.
We did. Crazy, right?
And now, of course, I'm sitting here and be like, oh, you should have predicted that, JD.
Of course, of course. Well, I'm going to
Can't
do
wait.
one more quick plug. My husband wrote a book, Lessons from the Microphone. Get this book. It talks about his 40 plus years in the media and how it has changed and evolved. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com. I would also ask that anybody that is watching either through our YouTube or your YouTube to go and subscribe to everybody else's YouTube. Anybody that's on our network, please support them because they support us by coming on and chatting with us and giving us their time. So I would ask everybody to go and support all of the people that we have. Great show. Forget about the Braves. Pray for Cody.
Mhm. Yeah, Kane, we're ready for that candlelight vigil. We are officially, we're putting an end to the rest of the Braves season. So, Kane, and then Candy, if I may,
Yeah.
for Greenville Sports Media, Arden's Burger and Grill, Beef and Rib, W Energy, South Florida Tribune. Y'all be blessed, not stressed. Just be kind to one another, dang it. And let's enjoy sports. We'll talk about them later. Good night.
Have a great one. Good night.